Welcome. Thank you for joining our skilling video. My name is Hamad Raju. I'm a Director of Product Marketing for Microsoft Compliance Ecosystem. This session is packed with a lot of great information regarding our investments in compliance ecosystem. I can't wait to share all the good news with you. But first, let's do some context setting. Microsoft Compliance is a rich solution space and covers 4 key pillars: information protection and governance, insider risk management, discover and respond, and compliance management. Extensibility in ecosystem, as you can imagine, is a horizontal capability that cuts across all compliance pillars. To solve for our customer needs, we are very excited to share 3 key capabilities. Number 1, to enable our customers to reason over their entire data landscape, including Microsoft and non-Microsoft systems, we are extending our connector platform and enabling ready-to-use partner-built connectors. We've partnered with GlobalNet and Tele to deliver 25 ready-to-use connectors at Ignite, and there are many more to come over the next several months. Number 2, to enable system-level integrations, we are doubling down on our investments in APIs. I'm excited to share our new Graph APIs, as well as several enhancements in Microsoft Information Protection SDK. And last but not the least, number 3, to meet unique needs of our customers, we are also investing in built-in customizations, such as tenant-level feedback loop for machine learning algorithms, as well as the use of Power Automate connectors. In this session, we will focus on APIs. One of the key asks from our customers and partners is for APIs that enable integration of our compliance solutions with their existing applications and services. This is an important ask, as it enables our customers to leverage their existing cross-platform investments so they can do a better job of managing digital risk and compliance. And to unlock this potential, we're announcing 3 new APIs. At the very high level, Graph API for Teams DLP enables third-party applications to leverage data loss prevention capabilities for Microsoft Teams. This is now generally available. Graph API for Team Export enables third-party applications to provide enterprise information archival scenarios for Microsoft Teams. This is in public preview. eDiscovery APIs enables workflow automation and third-party application integration scenarios. This is also in public preview. And of course, we are continuing to invest in our existing capabilities, such as Microsoft Information Protection SDK, which has added a number of new capabilities and hit the version 1.7 milestone. With that, I would like to introduce you to Jing Zhao, Principal Program Manager at Microsoft, to walk us through all the awesome work that our engineering teams have been doing to bring more value to our customers and partners. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jing Zhao. I'm a Principal Program Manager in Microsoft Security and Compliance team. I'm very happy to be here today to share with you the Graph APIs in Security and Compliance ecosystem. Let's dive in. Firstly, let's talk about Graph APIs for building a Teams DLP solution. Microsoft DLP solution for Teams is a premium compliance solution. It allows customers to define policies to prevent people from sharing sensitive information in Teams channel or chat session. But if you have a specific need that is not met by our first-party DLP solution, like you need a different mechanism to detect sensitive information, we have built the APIs to support you building a customized DLP solution for Teams. With these APIs, your application can listen to any message change in any Teams channel or chat session for a tenant, as far as tenant admin grant you the permission. Then, when change happens, like a user sends a new message or added an existing message, the listener app will get a new message via notification near real time. There is no throttling on number or size of messages your app can get. Once getting all the messages, your application can apply a DLP action by patching any interesting message, like delete or index the message with a social security number. So with the API's capability to get Teams message at scale near real time and the capability to patch any message, these premium APIs are going to enable you building a high-value Teams DLP solution. Second one, I'd like to talk about Graph APIs for Teams message export. Enterprise information archiving for Microsoft Teams is a case scenario for our customer. For meeting regulatory compliance obligation, Office 365 platform provides in-house archiving solution for Teams messaging. But if you have the need for a customized archiving solution, like you have existing investment with other archiving solution, we have built Teams export APIs to support integrating with those solutions for Teams. These export APIs support exporting all chat messages at scale. For example, you can call the API to get the whole chat message history for a given user, or you can call the API to get all the messages for a tenant for the last few days. It supports high throughput up to 200 RPS per tenant per application and 600 RPS per application. With Teams export APIs, you also have the flexibility to filter messages to export by user or by last modified data range. Lastly, the Teams export API allows you to get rich information. You can get one-on-one chat message, group chat message, and channel message. It also retrieves all content and the key properties of message, like message body, summary, mentions, attachment link, etc. Lastly, I would like to talk about Graph APIs for advanced eDiscovery. Advanced eDiscovery help customers to quickly find relevant data to respond to their legal and regulatory needs. It is a very important feature. Our first-party eDiscovery solution is built as a native capabilities for Teams, SharePoint Online, and Exchange Online. So it simplifies the discovery and review of Office 365 content. You can also manage workload in Microsoft 365. A full end-to-end eDiscovery workflow can be conducted in place to minimize the risk of managing large volume of duplicate data outside of Microsoft 365 security and compliance boundaries. And it also reduces the cost by exporting only what is relevant. Lastly, it intelligently reduces and cull data. It uses machine learning and intelligence to help you to reduce and cull large volume of data in place. eDiscovery flow can be created and managed within Compliance Center UX. Graph API for advanced eDiscovery extends the workflow and the user experience. The APIs we have built in public preview supports creating and managing three major types of resources like cases, review sites, and reviews as queries. And our team is working on supporting more type of resources via API. So with these APIs, you can create an app to automate a common and repetitive process like case creation, custodian management, etc. If you have to deal with regular internal investigation, admin does not need to go through UX over and over again to create and manage cases and other entities. You can use the API to automate the whole process. With automation, it ensures the scale and produce relevant content quickly. With automation, it also creates a repeatable, predictable, and consistent process to reduce potential human error in the manual process. Lastly, if you have a unique need that is not met by the in-house eDiscovery solution, the advanced eDiscovery API enables third-party provider integration seamlessly. For example, you can first use the API to automate calling data in place, tags the unique files manually. This reduces the volume of data to be exported. Then you can use the eDiscovery Advanced API to export the tagged content to a third-party solution for further usage, like report or analysis. That's all I have for Graph APIs in security and compliance ecosystem. Please check out our API documentation at the end of the deck. Next, I'm going to pass on to my colleague, Tom Moser, to talk about MIP SDK.
My name is Tom Moser. I'm a program manager on the Azure Information Protection team, and I'm here to talk today about the Microsoft Information Protection SDK. Labeling is at the center of the capabilities provided by the MIP SDK. Labels allow an organization to define the sensitivity of a document, email, or other objects, and that sensitivity generally defines the risk that loss of that item might present to the organization. This can be punitive risks around losing customer data and having to pay fines around that, or it could be intellectual property that's lost and risks losing my competitive edge as an organization. Users and processes can apply labels to information based on their knowledge of that data. And so as a user who's working on the product plans for next year, I might say that this is highly confidential and apply a highly confidential label. Or as a scanning process, such as the AIP scanner, I might look at data across file shares and have predefined rules that say if I see certain regular expressions or words or credit card numbers that I should apply a label based on that information. The labels drive actions that ensure information is properly protected and tagged. And so the label is applied, the user doesn't have to think or do anything else. Actions will be taken such as applying protection, applying content marking, and in all cases applying metadata that describes that information to other processes. These labels can be inspected by applications that have integrated the MIP SDK so that they can make their own policy decisions. So DLP solutions could detect that something is highly confidential and prevent that data from being uploaded to external cloud providers. The MIP SDK is at the center of many of the things that you see on the screen here. And so in the case of Microsoft Cloud App Security, you can apply labels to anything that's within the view of MCAS, or you can read labels from anything that's in the view of MCAS and then make policy decisions based on that. In the case of Adobe, they've shipped support to consume protected PDFs. So as MIP SDK labels these PDFs and applies encryption, you can use Adobe Reader now to consume that data and view it in a familiar PDF viewer. The SDK itself is actually a collection of 3 SDKs, our Protection SDK, Policy SDK, and File SDK. The Protection SDK provides some pretty basic encryption and decryption capabilities that ensure that the user's authenticated, that the access checks are in place that allow the developer to know what rights that user should have to the information, but largely takes in sets of bytes that are plain text and returns encrypted or vice versa. The Policy SDK allows applications to reason over labels and understand the actions they should take to successfully apply a label. In this case, the API doesn't actually do anything to the data. You would pass in some state that describes the current state of the data and the desired state of the data, and it's going to return a list of actions such as protection action, metadata action, etc., that your application would have to implement in order to successfully label the file. Applications that would use a combination of Policy SDK and Protection SDK would be things like Office, Word, Excel, and PowerPoint, or Adobe. These are applications that have knowledge of the file formats, directly open the files themselves, and then parse all the contents to apply the label and apply the protection. The File SDK abstracts both of those SDKs into a neat little package that allows line of business apps or DLP apps to simply point to a file and read the label from that file, or to apply their own label to the file. And so you don't have to worry about understanding the file internals. You don't have to worry about understanding how to reason over the actions that should be taken. The SDK handles all of that for you for a familiar set of file formats, such as Office files, PDFs, several image types, and more. Available in MIP SDK 1.7 will be double key encryption support. So now you'll be able to protect your most sensitive information using DKE with the MIP SDK. We've announced support for a few more platforms. So we're excited to have a Java public preview on Windows and Ubuntu Linux, as well as .NET Core support for both Windows and Ubuntu. And then finally, we've also announced support for track and revoke across the MIP SDK. So you'll be able to enable tracking on your documents as well as revoke documents programmatically using the MIP SDK. And now I'll switch to a quick demo that demonstrates how the MIP SDK might be used in a line of business application. So here we are in our simulated line of business application. And this application has done some work to integrate the Microsoft Information Protection SDK. You can see here that we've logged in as Alice, and that down below there's a table, and this would be generally meant to simulate some sensitive HR reports or payroll data. And on the right side, there's a list of labels. Now, typically, the application would predefine these and say, based on the information I'm displaying, I should apply this label. But for demonstration purposes, we display all of the labels that are available to Alice. So Alice would select confidential all employees and click download. And we can see that there's this Excel file that's downloaded. Now, Alice then shares the file with Tom. So we go over here and open that file. Now, what we should see is that the file has been already labeled and protected, and so that if this file were to be leaked outside the organization or shared externally, only those who had access based on that label would be able to view the document, and those who did not wouldn't be able to decrypt it at all. So you can see here that this does have the confidential all employees label applied and has rights management applied. And so we can see which rights Tom has to this information based on that label. And so this is just a quick example of how you can use the MIP SDK to apply protection and labels to information sourced from line of business applications. And this sample is available out on GitHub at aka.ms/MIP SDK samples.
Welcome. This session is packed with a lot of great information regarding our investments in compliance ecosystem. I can't wait to get us all started. But first, let's do some context setting. Microsoft Compliance is a rich solution space and covers 4 key pillars: information protection and governance, insider risk management, discover and respond, and compliance management. Extensibility and ecosystem, as you can imagine, is a horizontal capability that cuts across all 4 pillars. Based on customer feedback, we have made several investments in our compliance platform to make it more extensible. Today, we are very excited to share 3 key investment areas. Number 1, to enable our customers to reason over their entire data landscape, including Microsoft and non-Microsoft systems, we are extending our connector platform and enabling ready-to-use partner-built connectors. We have partnered with GlobalNet and Tele to deliver 25 ready-to-use connectors at Ignite, and there are many more to come over the next several months. To enable system-level integrations, we are doubling down on our investments in APIs. We have exciting news on new Graph APIs, as well as several enhancements in Microsoft Information Protection SDK. Number 3, to meet unique needs of our customers, we are also investing in built-in customizations, such as tenant-level feedback loop for machine learning algorithms, as well as Power Automate templates. In this session, we will focus on connectors. With that, I would like to introduce you to Rohit Gupta, who is Senior Program Manager at Microsoft, to walk us through all the goodness that Data Connector brings to our customers and partners. Thank you.
Thank you, Hamad. I'm excited to be here and share all the good work that the teams at Microsoft and at our partners have been doing for past several months. First off, all Microsoft and partner-built connectors are now available in a single catalog. Once you know which connector to use, it is super easy to configure it to enable high-fidelity data ingestion. Once ingested, data is available across all compliance solutions, including insider risk management, information governance, communication compliance, and advanced eDiscovery. For example, you could use the WhatsApp Archiver connector to bring in data that your employees generate every day when they communicate with your customers, and communication compliance can monitor that data for policy violations. The connector ecosystem is now super rich, with 25 built-in connectors covering various connectors built by Microsoft and its partners GlobalNet and Tele. These connectors span multiple categories, from financial communication platforms to social media, collaboration workloads, and mobile and text messages. Let me now take you through the catalog I talked about earlier. As you can see, we have a rich connector ecosystem here. This is one simple, intuitive catalog that includes all pre-built connectors from Microsoft as well as our partners. You can easily search for the connector you are looking for and also filter by provider. To demo these capabilities, I have Gil Shapira, VP of Business Development from Telemessage. Welcome to Ignite, Gil, and please take it away.
Thank you, Rohit. I'm excited to be here and present the Telemessage mobile capture connectors for Microsoft 365. Let's start with an overview of the different mobile communication channels that Telemessage can capture and archive. Telemessage offers mobile communication capture for firms who need to comply with mobile archiving and surveillance regulations, such as FINRA, MiFID II, Public Record Acts, Freedom of Information requests, and more. Our products enable recording and archiving of SMS and MMS communication, voice calls, as well as WhatsApp chats and calls. We can provide our offering on BYOD as well as corporate-owned phones, and we can activate mobile recording in any country and carrier. Telemessage offers 8 connectors through the Microsoft catalog, including the Network Archiver, which allows firms to capture communication directly from leading mobile carriers such as AT&T, Verizon, Bell, Tele, and Telefonica O2. The Android Archiver, which allows you to capture native communication from Android devices. The Enterprise Number Archiver, which adds a second recorded number on any mobile device while separating the private and business communication of the employees. Last, but definitely not least, we have the WhatsApp connector, which can capture WhatsApp chats and calls. This is the connector that we will configure in the demo today. Let's jump in. I will start by logging in as an admin to the Microsoft Compliance Center. I will then go to the Compliance Catalog, where you can see the complete set of connectors available. I will do a quick search for WhatsApp and hit View to see the connector description in more detail. The connector description has valuable information that lets you know what are the prerequisites for deploying each connector, such as licensing and role requirements. You can also use the helpful links to learn more about these topics. I will now use Add Connector to start the deployment. The first step is accepting the terms of service. Once that is done, we can give the connector an appropriate name. I'll call it WhatsApp Archiver for Ignite and click Next. Next, you will need to log in to the Telemessage account to create the connection between the platforms, as well as archiving rules pointing at your Microsoft 365 account. You will need your Telemessage admin credentials for this step. You will receive these credentials when you open an account with Telemessage. To start the process, click on Sign into Telemessage button. You will now log in with the Telemessage username and password of the Telemessage admin. After successful validation, the connector routing will be created in the Telemessage platform, and you can choose to do further configuration at a later time, and the Telemessage supporting will be happy to help you with the configuration of your Telemessage account, as well as the activation of network archiving with mobile carriers. Now we will close this window and go back to the Microsoft portal. Next, we need to configure how users' data will be mapped to the Microsoft 365 identities. This step enables the data to be stored in each user's respective mailbox. It can be done automatically, though you can also choose to provide additional configurations by uploading a CSV file. Let's continue by clicking Next. At this step, we need to provide the required permissions so that the connector can store content in the user's mailboxes. This was already done for this tenant, so let's move ahead. This is the final step where you can review key information before the final deployment happens for the connector. We'll click Finish, and it's done. Now there's a connection between the Telemessage system and your Microsoft 365 tenant. Once your connector is fully configured and ready from the Telemessage portal, company employees can use their mobile devices and have seamless delivery of their chats and calls into Microsoft 365. Let me now show you how mobile communication capture works using 2 mobile devices. The Telemessage WhatsApp Archiver is available for iOS as well as Android devices and can capture regular WhatsApp chats as well as those done over WhatsApp Business. The system can even be configured to allow the employee to use a personal WhatsApp instance to chat with friends and family on the same device as their recorded work number, while this personal communication will remain private and will not be recorded. Imagine that one of your employees is harassing another employee on WhatsApp. After you set up the connector and complete the configuration, this behavior can be easily detected. I will type a couple of harassing text messages. I will hurt you, and I don't like you. With that, let me hand it back to Rohit, who will showcase how these messages can be detected via the Microsoft 365 solutions.
Thanks, Gil. The scenario that Gil described can easily be detected because the ingested data is available to communication compliance. Once you've configured the offensive language policy, you will see that communication compliance will flag cases where such inappropriate messages were sent and allow the administrator to take the necessary next steps. Here, you can see that communication compliance has detected the messages we sent earlier in the demo. It is possible that your organization may face investigations as a result of such events from impacted employees. Since this data is also available to the advanced eDiscovery solution, you can easily make such messages a part of the relevant case and take further action as needed. Here, you can see that advanced eDiscovery solution has successfully located this data and made it available to the administrator, who can now export this and execute the appropriate next steps.
Our call to action for this session is very simple. We want you to try these capabilities and please give us your feedback. Try connectors, try the new Graph APIs, try the MIP SDK, and give us your feedback. And last but not the least, please also watch a number of Ignite sessions that will orient you on all the goodness that compliance ecosystem brings for you. Thank you so much.